There is an award that's more rare than the Eagle Scout. Let's talk about it. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk a little bit about this award. This is very rare, but it is something that Scouts don't necessarily try to earn, and yet we should recognize this award. Heroism and Lifesaving are one of those things that this award covers. And there are some basic things that need to be discussed as far as all the different levels. We all know of Scouts that have come into situations where they've actually saved lives through Scout skills. This is something that happens all the time. Now, there are many different levels, everything from meritorious action all the way up to life-saving. It varies, and it uses the same form and the same procedure. Now, this award is available for Scouts and Scouters. You see these all the time, especially in Scout Life magazine and, of course, Scouting magazine. It's usually done in a cartoon format that's called Scouts in Action or Scouters in Action. You may know someone who has saved their whole family from a fire, or even saved a friend from choking, or even someone they didn't know from drowning. And they deserve to get this award to recognize that selflessness in helping others. There are 3 types of awards that are granted through a committee. The first would be a award of merit, the award of heroism, life-saving award. The council can also issue a meritorious action certificate. Now, all of the form that needs to be filled out is linked down below in the video description. That is where you can actually download the PDF and start that process. That process must be started. You have to get the paperwork in within 36 months of the actual incident. Now, this application must be used. You can't add a bunch of paperwork or articles or anything to it. It has to be just the form. It's quite clear in the instructions that's what they want. So that form needs to be filled out. Now, there is a release form in there for the Scouts or Scouter in Action cartoon to be created if the award is granted. So that is a requirement that has to be signed. Now, in the form, they're going to ask for like first aid cases. They're going to need all of those blanks filled in. A fire rescue has to be, that section has to be filled in. Ice rescue, water rescue, then miscellaneous cases, which can be a combination of several. Now, in the paperwork, they're going to need a statement from the Scout or Scouter, and that must be signed and dated. The rescued person or persons, they have a space there too, where they could actually have a statement made towards what the Scout or Scouter did. That is actually optional. The last one would be a witness. You need to have somebody who has actually saw what happened, and that has to be documented, signed, and dated. That is required. Now, you shouldn't even bother with the paperwork if you can't get the nominee and a witness. Those are required statements. They have to be done in order for the paperwork to go through or to be even considered. Now, there is reasons that this is out there. A lot of times lifeguards, doctors, EMTs, those people save lives on a regular basis. That is kind of their job. And that deserves its respect. But this is really for scouts and scouters that went above and beyond outside of that scope. So if you're a lifeguard, a doctor, an EMT, a firefighter, you are already there, okay? This award is to recognize people that are not. So that's the key. So if they are already in that, it just doesn't apply in this regard. Each council has a meritorious committee set up for this award. This is so if you have the paperwork ready, submit it to your council and the committee will consider it. Now, they might meet several times in the year to go over all of the applications for this award. Now, once the council has upgraded or approved this level, they move it on to the national committee. And the national committee determines what level of medaling is actually awarded. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you are invited to come to the live meeting. The live meeting is on the first Sunday of each month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So please join us. Now, you're going to have to adjust for whatever time zone you're in. But please join us and join in. That's a great way to ask questions, and I'm there to answer them. Also, I want to personally thank all of the patrons on Patreon for their continued financial support. Also, if you would like to become a channel member right here on YouTube, hit the join button and go through that process. It's a great way to help fund what you see here. If you don't want to do a monthly donation, that's fine. We have a thank you button. Just hit the thank you button and make a one-time donation. That is always appreciated. And let's get right back to it. Now, the council will have to fill out the paperwork and do all of the reporting. That has to be done within 30 days of actually making a determination. So the council does that. But again, all of the paperwork needs to be filled out and turned in before 36 months after the incident. You want to make sure that it's done as soon as possible. If you go beyond the 36 months, it won't be considered. So it has to be current. So it has to be somewhat current so that there's time to actually do all the paperwork and the committee and all of that stuff. It has to go through that process. Now, once council and national has been doing their process and got approval, then they will notify the scouter of this award. And at that point, they will have the medals and they'll have the certificates and all the stuff with their names correctly on them, and that will be processed. Typically, this is done at an annual banquet for your council, or it could be a special award ceremony within the council. Lifesaving and Meritorious Action Award. There is a website. It's in the description below, and they have all of the information on there. They have a link directly to the most current PDF for the form to be filled out. So if you know of a scout that has actually performed a meritorious action, saving a life, that is something that needs to be recognized. We need to promote that and get that out there so that we can make sure that scouts see that to help others at all times is part of what we do, part of the scout oaths, part of the scout law, helpful, courteous, and kind, and facing our fears by being brave. So these are some of the things that the more meritorious award actually shows others what scouting is all about. And scouting is about giving, and it's about helping others, and that is huge. It is huge in many ways, in many ways. And in fact, you watching the videos here on the channel, making yourself a better scouter, more aware of what's going on. That's the neat thing. Keep that learning process, and I'm so grateful that you are a part of this channel. So it's just wonderful. So keep up that hard work for your scouts in your community. This is good work. We're changing the world, one scout at a time, but we're changing the world. And keep up that good hard work, and I'll see you on the trail.